Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Launch and Workshop number 1, Building Twitter in 20 Minutes with Adalo, with Barret Nash, Partnerships Manager of Adalo. So I'd like to welcome all of you. Good evening. Thank you for spending your Friday night with us. We're so glad that you're here. So to start things off, can we please... Sorry, technical glitch. I don't know how to navigate Google Slides for some reason. Okay, there. So please answer in the chat box. What did you have for dinner tonight? It's already 8 p.m. here in the Philippines. So I would imagine you just had your dinner. So what did you have for dinner? And thank you for everyone saying hi in the chat box. Christine says she had pasta. Nice. Gracel said they had tuna and fries. Bless, pasta and salmon. Andrea had adobo and rice. Nice. And your success coordinator says nuggets, coffee. Okay, another person had chicken nuggets, roasted chicken. Okay, sorry, I guess like there's a lot of food here and it's making me hungry again. Roasted chicken, Spanish sardine pasta, Jollibee, nice. Mongo bean soup and rice, misua, tinola, tuyo and rice, fried fish, and utan, hot chocolate, and cheese bread. So it's 2 p.m. in Lebanon where Barret is, and he had a vegan cheeseburger. Nice. Noodles, turon, chicken, coffee, Wilfern, fried fish and rice, adobo rice for the win, isaw, adobong talong, chicken, steak, tuna pasta, and potato rice. Jennifer is finding out on Food Panda right now. Eggplant, omelette, sisig, tuyo at kape, Jollibee. Marisa is having a diet, so no dinner for tonight. Thank you, everyone. And I hope that means that everyone is full so that we are all ready to learn Adalo tonight and we're all ready to have fun. I just would like to remind everyone that there is a giveaway. So we'll be giving away 3 no-code PH t-shirts. So please stay until the end of the workshop so that you can win a no-code PH t-shirt. And so we'd just like to establish ground rules. First of all is that please be kind and respectful to everyone. And you can, we strongly encourage, although obviously it's not required, that you please engage by commenting and asking questions in the chat box. And of course, we are all here to have fun. So with that, welcome to the no-code PH's challenge number 002 in partnership with Adalo. Just a few words. I'd just like to share why do we host no-code hackathons like this one. We want to help makers in the Philippines, obviously learn no code, launch products, and of course, celebrate each other's work. As you know, we exist to empower the no code community. And I just like us so that we get to know each other and meet one another. I just like to call some of the participants so that they can introduce themselves and let us know more about themselves. Okay, first up is Jover. Jover, can you please talk to go in the camera and let us know who you are and what brings you to join the No Code Page Challenge. Jover? Okay, I don't think he is around. Jover, if you're around somewhere, we will call on you again. Next up is Princess. So Princess, can you please go and introduce yourself?
Hi everyone. So I'm Princess. I'm from Bulacan and I was a back-end developer who later on became a bootcamp instructor. So I'm here because I'm slowly transitioning yet again to another different career path. So from being a backend developer, I actually want to learn UI UX design and or some front end development as well. So I think joining No Code PH's Adalo Challenge would tremendously help with my current career goals. And I think it would also improve my eye for design, develop critical thinking, and learn new skills. And I hope I would learn how to um incorporate different components together so that the UI interface could come together. So I'm super excited, and I know I might be throwing a lot of jargons, IT jargons. And if you are interested in what I do, and if you think that I would be able to help you out throughout the hackathon, you are free to chat me over on Discord, and I hope to learn from everyone and meet you guys as well. Thank you, Crystal.
Okay, thank you, Princess, for introducing yourself. Next up is AC. Do we have AC?
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I hope you are all doing well. So I'm Ace Corpus. I'm Avi Corpus. AC is my initials, and currently I'm a student, specifically a pharmacy student right now. So it's kind of a different from the software development side of things, but I really find it amusing that I can develop mobile apps using no code tools. So that's why I joined this hackathon. So that's it.
Thank you, AC. Now, next up is Gracel. Gracel, please introduce yourself.
Oh, so yeah, hello there, everyone. So my name is Gracel. So I'm residing here in Pampanga. So I'm currently a Scrum Master for an outsourcing company back in BGC. So I just happened to come across with the advertisement of the No Code Hackathon on Facebook, and I was trying to search for something that can actually be beneficial for me as a Scrum Master. And I've been a frustrated UX designer for a long time. So I just wanted to have the experience, and hopefully it would help me on my Scrum Master role in the future. So, yep. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Gracel. Next up is Faye.
Hello, everyone. So, hi, I'm Faye. I'm currently in Santo Tomas, Batangas, in the Philippines, and I'm a speech communication student. So, I'm in college currently in my third year, and I joined this challenge specifically because I have been wanting to learn about um, app development and design thinking for a long time, but I don't have the background or like the motivation in the past to do it. I haven't found a way to spend my time on it. And when I came across the Facebook post, I thought that it would be a great opportunity to jumpstart my journey in learning about app development. So I'm currently ideating small ideas for a startup with my university friends. And I think this is really why I'm excited to join in the first place. So I think it will be a great opportunity since we're all people who have no experience or background in tech. And it's something that we really think would help us moving forward.
Okay, thank you, Faye. Last but certainly not the least, we have Janine.
Hi, my name is Janine. I'm from Quezon City. I'm a customer service representative. I'm actually on maternity leave, so I joined this challenge to add some skills while I'm still not working and while I'm taking care of the baby to maximize my time. And what makes me excited is even though I'm not working, at least I want to be productive by joining challenges like this, learning new skills, and just add add knowledge to myself.
Okay, great. Thank you, everyone, for introducing yourselves. I'm so glad that you are all here to participate. We are so excited to see what you come up with during this challenge. And thank you for everyone that was Princess, AC, Gracel, Faye, and Janine. Okay. So let's head on now to what is the reason that we're here tonight, which is that we are here to learn. And let's meet our speaker, Barret Nash, who is the partnerships manager of Adalo. So he has co-founded VC-backed startups in Canada, Kenya, Rwanda, and the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Having embraced no-code and Adalo in 2020, Barret now manages Adalo's partnerships. He is an evangelist for spreading no-code and Adalo around the world, believing passionately in transforming users into creators of technology rather than just consumers of technology. So can we please give a round of applause to our speakers, Barret Nash. And so Barret, you can take it away.
Cool. Hey, everybody. I'm super happy to be here. So Crystal, if you could just like do me a bit of a favor and just make sure I don't spend too much time on anything. But I'd like to, I believe, like just start by kind of introducing myself. Then I'm going to, in a collaborative way, just build like a quick app together on Adalo and introduce as an introduction to no-code techniques. Then I'll take any questions. So let me kind of first introduce myself because I think it is relevant to kind of like how no-code works, because before I was working with Adalo, I was like a passionate no-code user. So my background is, as Crystal just read in my biography, is launching startups. I've been passionate about education and technology in the world. I found myself like spending a lot of time in Africa. And I'd launched like some quite successful startups in several African countries. But, as is the way with startups, like, things don't always go according to plan. And my last startup was, very successful. We were one of the most like, famous startups in Africa, but we were following like an Uber style business model. We're based off losing money, great business model, right? And I just couldn't keep it financed. So I had to kind of start my life over again. And I was frustrated because it feels like, I never thought in my life I'd be ever able to make any technology myself. Like I thought I was, somebody who could be a leader of a company, that I could, hire well, that I could have vision, but I never thought that like with my own hands, I'd be able to make a product, because it just seemed like too advanced, like I believe like it will not be something that happens in my life that I'll learn a coding language. People come to me all the time and like, oh, like, should I become like a developer? I'm like, well, frankly, like if you're over the age of like 18 and you're not already, able to be like fully literate in a coding language, actually, like I would have said no. Like, I'm sorry, like, some people's brains are wired the right way for it, some people's aren't. And if you're not kind of like dreaming in code, you're probably never going to be able to make a great product. Maybe you can play around a bit, but like, it's like 0.0001% of the devs that make like 99% of the code. But I believe no code changes that. I don't answer things in that way anymore. So it's actually my former co-founder / best friend / sometimes enemy who put me onto Adalo. This was at the beginning of 2020. And it was just like, basically like, here he's like, I wanted to make a new product, but I didn't want to have to go raise money to build a team, to release a product, just to discover that nobody actually liked it. And for sure, like Adalo changed my life. Like I picked it up, and it like, often people think that when you say no code, it means that it should be easy. It's not at all easy. It's like a puzzle, and a puzzle that is as hard as, you allow it to be, but it's a puzzle that you can get your hands around, because instead of it being in like some mystic language, it's in a visual language. So Adalo's founders were actually designers. And they'd been realizing that they'd been presenting high fidelity wireframes, like really good mock-ups of apps, and they'd go into people's hands and they'd be like, the customers would go, wow, is this like the app itself? It was like so realistic. And the idea was, well, if it's so realistic already, maybe we should just go a step farther. So I'm going to talk on that point more when I actually go into Adalo itself and give you a tour. But you know, I began myself. I actually clicked publish in Adalo and had a Google Play app come out and put it on the Google Play Store. And now I've made maybe, I don't know, 40 or 50 apps. I've launched a startup called Infinita, which is focusing on using Adalo to rapidly prototype apps in sub-Saharan Africa. And we've gotten some VC backing behind it, which is cool. But I've been so passionate about like how Adalo has been a tool that I can use that I actually want to spread Adalo. That's why I'm on this call. And I was wanting to spread it so much that I was going, how can I do this? And I actually decided to join Adalo as a company. So, you know, working for Adalo, getting to spread Adalo as a part of my job is something that really excites me, because I believe that if like I can pick this up, I really believe like anybody can. And I also believe that there's this small amount of tech people in like, you know, California and London, these like people who make the apps we use, but they're not representative of the world. They're not representative of like universal experience. And I think actually trying to allow more people from more diverse backgrounds to be able to build technology for the world around them is going to be something that really allows new technology to be built that can, you know, make people's lives better, or, you know, however it wants to, the technology wants to be released. So is it okay now, Crystal? I'm going to share my screen. I believe, how is this going to work? I think this is the right one. So first, I'll share in the chat, and this, oh, where's the chat gone? I've lost the chat. My screen sharing is paused. My screen sharing is active. Come on. Come on. My screen is full screen. It's causing me a problem. Go away, header there. Okay, so you can open this Google Drive later, and it has a version of this video that I'm kind of doing now. So if you want to follow along again later. And then it also has a text guide that if you want to follow. So like, don't feel that as I'm presenting that you need to like memorize anything. Instead, what I'd really like, the goal of this conversation for me would be that you guys get a feel of the contours that is actually like something that is like not that hard to build something in Adalo. Okay, so let's get going. So usually I just build Twitter because it's kind of my habit. If somebody has a strong preference of me building something else, I'm happy to do that. But I think actually Twitter's fine, because Twitter is just so easy. You know, like say like WhatsApp, like I could make WhatsApp for you guys too, but it's like slightly trickier because like making sure the messages come at the right time and in the right order and not to everybody is just like a little bit of a harder learning curve. So let's go. So first, so you could use other tools. I use Adalo because I believe Adalo's visual language of building is the easiest, but like, don't feel like, you know, it has to be Adalo. You could also use like Webflow is another great no-code tool. Bubble is kind of the biggest one. I think Bubble is like the most developed, but it uses a different visual language. I think it's more challenging, but I use Adalo, and Adalo, I think everybody's getting a free promotional access to Adalo. So I would for sure say you should check it out. And it's even the free plan allows you to do quite a bit. So welcome to Adalo. Let's sign up and make an account quickly. That It's in fact not my email address. Okay. Welcome to Adalo. So the first question we have is, do we want to do a desktop web app or a native mobile app? So basically it's, do you want to do like something that's targeting a laptop or targeting a smartphone? A native mobile app can be outputted to Google Play, like an Android app, an iPhone app, or it can also be something called a progressive web app that lives in your phone. There's components that allow you to bridge between the two. But for this case, for making a Twitter, we'll do a native mobile app. These templates are just ways to kind of get you started so you can see what like a more developed app looks like. But I usually start with blank. And then we'll call this Twitter clone 1 trillion. If I can spell trillion, that would be useful. And I feel like to make this more realistic, we'll grab the Twitter color. Where do I have it? I have it here somewhere. Dude. Perfect. Okay. We have now entered the Adalo workspace. So if anybody has ever like looked at like terminal, like a traditional coding environment, you can already see that this is a very different sort of workspace. Well, if anybody has ever gone into like an Adobe software program like Illustrator or Photoshop, you're gonna like already kind of like get a feeling like this is like very Illustrator, Adobe XD or Figma influenced. So let me first give you a tour of the interface. So these screens in front of us, these come defaulted from Adalo. You don't have to use them, but it's just kind of a way to get out running faster. But you have, you know, like this center part is where all the screens you're building live. When you click on a component in a screen, like the things that the screen is made up of, you'll see that there's this like left side contextualizes for what you do. So this left bar is where you control the parameters of what you're engaging with. This preview and share at the top is a way to see what's going on for the app. I usually use share rather than preview. So you can see that we're already having an app that is actually kind of, you know, it has that sign up screen that's already there. This, I gotta say, this Zoom is annoying, like keeps getting in my way. Apologies. Okay. Over on the left, these buttons are kind of like the magic buttons. This first one, the big plus one, obviously this is the biggest. So it's like the one that you do the most with. And this is where you can make new screens. So if we wanted to add a new screen, we would just, as easily as that, just add a new screen. You can see now we have 4 screens where before there was 3. So a screen is kind of like you know, room where everything's contained in. And then components, it's kind of like what you fill the room up with. So everything that goes inside an app is a component. And basically like components, it's like your kitchen. So like say like the screen is like the plate, and then the component are what you fill up the plate with. And it can be a really worthwhile exercise just to go from the beginning to the end and just play around with every single component, because, you know, it's kind of like, you know, once you know all the ingredients you have to cook with, then you're able to, you know, cook almost anything. And I give a special reference to the component marketplace, which has always increasing numbers of components made by Adalo on our community. And there's just some like really cool stuff in here. So like, you know, YouTube, for example, allows you just to easily insert YouTube videos into the app. AdMob Banner allows you to put in Google advertisements if you want to monetize your app through ads. There's some really cool stuff in there. Okay, below the add component, add screen button, is branding, where we can easily change our colors. And if you're on premium, which you guys are getting access to, you can change your fonts, or you can access thousands of fonts. My apologies, there's still some defaults there. This screens button is the another way of visualizing the different screens. You can see that we've got sign up, login, and home. And here we've got sign up, login, and home. The database is a little bit more challenging, so I'm going to go through that at the end. Then settings. This is like, just like loose settings. It's important here to notice though, that this is where you can add team members. Publish is the exciting spot where you can push out for Android, push out for iOS, and push out to a custom URL for a progressive web app. And then this final one is just some basic analytics so that you can get some low-hanging information of what your users are doing in the app. So let's focus. So before I start an app, I usually do three things. I do a spec sheet. The core of the spec sheet is to tell me what are the features that I'm going to build. And this is really important because once I have accomplished them, then I say I'm done for that version of the app rather than kind of like letting there be this endless mission creep. So let's say that for making Twitter, we're going to be able to create new tweets, like tweets, and see like a presentation of tweets, like see like the timeline of tweets or the Twitter feed, whatever it's called. So like a spec sheet is one thing I do before I start. The second thing I do is I make wireframes because it's so much easier to I just grab a pen and paper. I'm no artist. I'm probably the worst artist in the world. All my things look like a wonderful by caveman standards, but it's just so useful to think about what actually needs to be on the screen. Where should it go? Because when you're actually building, it can be a cognitive burden having to do that at the same time as you're building. It's kind of nice to, just know exactly what you're doing. And the final thing is I map out the basic database. So I'm sure all of you guys have heard the words like front end. So like front end and back end. So what we're seeing in front of us, this is like the front end. This is like the visual aspect of the app. But the back end, it's where all the information is stored. So, when we go into the app, we've got this space, where we're making an account. So we're looking at the front end. But once we actually make the account, that information needs to be saved somewhere. If you've got 1,000 users or 1 million users or 1 billion users, or you've got, 1 million tweets or 1 billion tweets, all of that needs to be saved somewhere so it can be accessed and used in different ways. And where it's saved is the database. It's the place where all the information of your app lives. And many people are scared of databases. And what I'd say is, one, databases are challenging. It's like another part of the puzzle of Adalo. But the more you do it, the easier it gets. It is so much easier to start at the beginning and do a bit of it before you start so that you kind of have like a roadmap you're following. And then it's okay to change it later. You can keep changing it. It doesn't need to be something like, if you do something wrong, like it's fine to learn from your mistakes and fix it. But I will say that it's easier to put a bit of thought in the beginning than having to change everything later. Now, the way I actually do databases is I use Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel. Microsoft Excel and Google Sheets are forms of simple databases. And what I do is I just think of like, what would if I was making like a Excel sheet of what the app would be trying to store information for, what would it look like? So I'm actually going to do that. So our database is going to have users. Users sign up. And then the users make tweets. So there's going to be two databases, users and databases. So a user is going to have a name, an email address, a handle, an avatar. Then they're going to have tweets they've authored and tweets they've liked. Okay, sometimes I forget things here, so if I'm forgetting something that's obvious, please feel free to shout it at me. And then there's going to be the tweets themselves. Oops, the tweets. So this will be the tweet text. If the tweet has an image, there'll be a tweet image. Then it will be the tweet author and users that liked the tweet. try to name things, like sometimes people will like name things like 0, 1, 5, 6, like, you know, like kind of like random things. But I find for myself, like naming things really clearly helps me later, because then I can just like look at what it says in front of me, and I can use that as a way, as like a visual prod to know what I'm supposed to be doing. So now let's actually take these database architectures. We've just made a database schema, and we'll put it into Adalo. So in Adalo, they call databases collections. So we can use that nomenclature. But we have, so like, let's start with the users. So it already comes with users pre-set up, because it's just like a step that, that they're using to help us. Oh, I forgot passwords, my mistake. So the first one is name. So we'll push that up there. Then it was email address, email, password, handle, we'll use handle instead of username, handle, and tweet image, avatar. Is that everything? So one of the things that makes a database different than an Excel is how you can link things together between the databases. So tweets they've authored is actually like a bridge between users and tweets. So we actually had to kind of do that in a little bit of a special way. So let's do the ones that, let's make the new collection of tweets. And this will be tweet text, tweet image. But then when we want to make the tweet author, it's not text, it's not number, it's actually a relationship with the users, because a user is the author of the tweets. So when you do databases, like the kind of like when you set it up, the like official way you say it is it a one-to-many relationship, a many-to-one relationship, or a many-to-many relationship? And the reason why this counts is because it affects the way you can grab the data between that relationship. But Adalo, I think, like does like a best in the world job of making this as easy as possible. So this first one is one-to-many, then it's many-to-one, then it's many-to-many. And this is like another important thing of writing things really clearly for names, because it makes it easier when you have to make this decision. So this is a part that people often get stuck on, but I just read it out loud and think. So a user, but it's not just a user, it's the tweet author. So a tweet author can have multiple tweets. A tweet belongs to one tweet author. Well, that's in fact exactly what it is, because a tweet only belongs to one author. There can only be one author of a tweet. So we'll do this, and then we'll name this tweet author. And then because it is a bridge to the user, you can see it's come here and it's on both sides. So it's like a, you know, it's like, yeah, like a bridge between the two databases. So we'll say this tweets authored. And then we also have to do tweets liked. So this will be a relationship, because this will be users that liked tweets. So a user can like multiple tweets. That's true. A tweet can be liked by one user. Well, that's not true, because a tweet can be liked by many users. Okay, this next one. A user can only like one tweet. Well, we know that's a lie, because a user can like as many tweets as they want. Then the final one, a tweet can be liked by multiple users. Well, that's true. And a user can like multiple tweets. Well, that's true as well. So that'll be the one. Okay, our database is set up, I think. Let me look at my database schema. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so now we're actually ready to get building. So usually, so we're going to be doing like two screens. One screen is going to be in the home, and that'll be the Twitter feed. Then we're going to do another screen where you actually make the tweet. I usually leave the home screen to the end, because you can't test it until you've made the tweets. So it's like better to put the make the tweet first, so that we can figure that out. So that then when we actually are testing the tweet feed, we can have information already populated. So I want to make a button where when somebody goes to the home page, they can click it and go to a new page that is going to be making tweets. So let's first make that new page. So we're going to go click the big plus, add screen. We could do blank screen, but this time I'm going to use this one with the app bar. Make a tweet, good name, right? And I chose that one with the app bar because our home screen has an app bar. And I think it makes it look more consistent. It already has a back button. It already has the name. Seems pretty easy. Now we need to be able to get to this make a tweet screen. So the way we can get to it is with a button. Now I could just choose this button here, the one that's like on the home screen, but like that doesn't really look like the make a tweet button. I want it to look a little bit like Twitter. So instead I'll go down to the button section and they have this round one. I think that looks more like the Twitter, and it should be blue because I think that looks better. The plus is okay, but maybe I wonder if they have like a pen. Maybe they have like a better one. Of course, I'd love that like Twitter flaggy one. Okay, well, maybe plus is fine. So now what we want is when you click this plus button, it goes to the make a tweet page. So let's click the button and you'll see it open this contextual menu on the left side. And that gives us all these controls. You know, it's where we just chose to change the color or maybe change the icon. But the kind of powerful thing here is this actions. So actions is what happens when you click the button. So we want to add an action. When we click it, we want to link to the make a tweet screen. And maybe we'll have it be a little bit fancy where we'll have it slide to the left just for fun. Okay. Let's test this just to make sure it's working the way we want. Oh, I've made a mistake. So I want to sign up, but it doesn't include me making my handle. So let's make that so that I'm just going to sign up once. I'll have you guys sign up too, but in a moment. So the sign up has email, password, full name, but we also want it to click it, have the contextual menu so we can modify the variables and add a visible field of a handle. Oh, and we'll add avatar too, so we can add a picture. Good idea. Okay, now this page has actually gotten too long, so we can extend it. And I've lost this thing of the, this thing got put behind it, so let me move it below. Already have an account. That goes to the login page. Okay, great. Ooh. So now let's make an account and see if that button for add a tweet works. Sure, that looks fine. My name is Barret Nash. My handle can be Barret Nash, and my avatar can be, look, I've got an Adalo one sticking here. Perfect. I've signed up, I hope. Oh, that should be doing something. Why isn't it doing something? Welcome to technology. I have no idea why it's not working. Oh, there it goes. Maybe it's just, I'm in a Lebanon in the Middle East. And I got to tell you, the internet isn't going to win any awards. So we can check that things went according to plan with me registering by looking at the user's database. You can see it's now one record. And you can see I'm already put in. Cool. So things are working right the way we'd expect. And what we're hoping is when we click this button, it'll bring us to a new page. Perfect. Does exactly what we're expecting. So now let's make a tweet. So what we're trying to do with a tweet is we're trying to enter in information that gets saved to the database so that it can be presented on the homepage. So the way you save something into a database is by a form. Now you could do this multiple ways. There's a million ways to do anything, and you're really only limited by your creativity. But I think the easiest way is just to use the form component. I would usually do this more custom because, for example, the form component has limitations in how much you can customize it. So you can't actually, for example, make it only 44 characters. But you could do that by using individual components that you would build together into your own form that would be similar, but you'd kind of make it yourself. I'm frustrated that this blue, I used white as the secondary color. Let me use it as blue so you can see. So we're just going to use this form because it's very easy, but for sure, like, this is kind of like a simple measure. So let's click it. So what is this form going to be? It's going to be making tweets, and it's going to be making the tweet text, sure, the tweet image, and then create tweet. That all sounds perfect. You'll notice that under the fields, it has the visible fields, but then it's automatically setting me as an author. That's a choice. You can change all of these, but it's trying to predict your actions. And then when we click create tweet, it's going to have the action create tweet. And I think it also would be good to go back to the home screen. That's what you'd expect. Okay, let's try making a tweet. Now, if you guys could actually help me out with this, if you could scan with your phone this QR code, register, and make a tweet, that would be useful just to make sure this is working properly, okay? So you can do that now, just as I am. So my tweet text would be, please make your own. Sure. Lebanese internet. How is my internet? Okay, let's see if you guys have put in any tweets. Okay, I've made one. Could you guys make some others as well? How is my internet? Could you guys give me a message?
We can follow along. I think they're just also busy creating tweets because I'm in the process of creating a tweet.
Yeah, no worries. I'm not stressing. Okay, I'll give you guys 10 seconds to make a tweet, and then you can keep doing it, then I'll carry on. And please, like, write in the chat box. I've got like 5 different internets in front of me. So if it gets bad, I'll just hop to a different internet. Okay, thank you. I can see that people are starting to make tweets. Thank you for that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, you can't. Oh, of course. Here. Oh la la, what have I done? Okay, does that make it easier so you can scan it? Sorry, I didn't leave you enough time to scan. You are not expecting to see the tweets on the home screen because we've not built it yet. We'll do that together in a moment. Perfect. Okay, let's get back to it. So to your point, now we need to, so we can see the tweets are coming through. Great, I can see a couple of tweets here. Thank you guys so much. So now let's focus on the home screen. So the power that we want to use here is something called a list. You can see as the components that there's a simple list and there's an entire list section. And a list is a way of showing like a view of what's in your database. So like say when you're on Instagram, you're scrolling, this is a list of Instagram posts. When you're posting on WhatsApp, that is a list of messages with a filter to be only showing you and the person you're talking to. So what we want to make is a list of tweets. Now you can make a list by just grabbing from the list section, but you can also group things together and make a list. I find that actually kind of more powerful when you want to do something visually nice. So before we make the list, we have to think about what we want to be included in our list of tweets. So for sure, we want to have the handle of the user. We want to have an avatar of the user. It should be small. and round, because for some reason it's always round. And it should be symmetrical. Okay. Then there should be, if the tweet has an image, we'll include the image of the tweet. Then there should be the tweet itself. And we said we're wanting to include if you can like it. So a like, it's either you like it or you don't like it. So it's actually a switch, a toggle. So we'll make it a toggle below it. And if it's liked, it should be a heart. And if it's not liked, it'll be an empty heart. In Canada, we spell favorite with a U. Okay, that looks pretty good. So then we can highlight everything and make it a list. And you can see now it's actually starting to look kind of Twitterish. Now, if you preview it right now, you'll see that it's being populated, hopefully. Oh, it won't do that yet because I haven't said it's a list. It's a list of tweets. So if you preview it, you'll see that it is showing tweets, but it's saying like enter text. We've got to actually tell it what it should be showing. So now that it's a list of tweets and we can do a sorting of, let's say, created date, newest to oldest, you can just really play around with all of the stuff. Like, it's kind of like, again, it's like cooking, like, it's knowing what's in your spice cabinet. But we want it to be showing the correct things. So this we said was going to be, so this little T, it's called magic text, and it allows you to grab text from the database. So we said we want this to be the current tweet author's handle, right? Should be the handle of the author of this tweet. We said that this image, and like you see how this this comes together. This is that relationship we did. This is what the relationship does, so that even though we're on the tweet, we can grab the information from the tweet author because we've made a relationship between them. So we want the image to be the current tweets author's avatar. We want the image source to we want the tweet image to be the database current tweets tweet image. And then we'd like this text to be the current tweets tweet text. And then we'd like this favorite to be toggling for the current tweet if the liked users includes logged in users. And I didn't name that correctly. I didn't rename it. So that's why it's improper. So even let me rename. So I made a mistake. You see, it's supposed to be tweets liked, which makes it easier when we click on it and we say, what does it do? The current tweet. I got to refresh it to do it. Let's see if it works. Maybe I've made a mistake. Now, if we test it, it should be looking pretty complete. Perfect. Now, not bad, right? But of course, things can be as complicated as you want. So say, for example, I'm just going to do like an example of complexity to think about. But what happens if the tweet has no image? Well, we could make it where an image is mandatory, but we don't have that set now. And often tweets don't have images. But if you take a look, oh, I made it mandatory. Okay, we'll make it unmandatory because not all tweets have images, do they? So we'll go down on the field, tweet image, not required. So now we'll make a tweet, no image, create tweet. And it looks ugly, right? It's just a big space. Well, like this is just kind of like giving you like a taste of like kind of more advanced functionality. What we can do is we want the image, the tweet image, to only show if the tweet has an image. Obvious, right? So let's make that happen. Well, let's select the image. This 3 dots opens more options. So we'll open that. Visibility. And we want the image to only be sometimes visible and we want to be visible if the current tweet image is not equal to empty. And I've lost my, oh, there you go. See, no image and doesn't show, and we can favorite it. Cool. Okay, Crystal, I think that's like pretty good for like a basic Twitter introduction. Maybe we can kind of like take a pause here for a second and do some questions or whatever kind of the next point on the agenda is. I'm also happy to build more advanced functionality if anybody has any questions. Anybody wants to do it, but yeah, Crystal, I think it's good for you to take it from here for a moment.
Okay, sure. So let's do you want to answer a few questions from like the audience? They have a few questions.
Sure. Do you want to maybe collect them for me just so I don't
Yeah, sure. Okay, so they're asking can we only choose 2 colors, or it's just the ideal number of colors in creating apps?
You can choose as many colors as you want, and everything can be like customized, right? So like when you choose something, like what's an easy example? Like say like this header, you can see that you can choose the prime. So you have a primary color and a secondary color, but then you can choose it to be anything you want. It's just usually you want to do semi-standardized. So things can be as many colors as you want for sure.
Okay, thank you. Next question from Anika. What if you want a mobile app and a web app at the same time?
That's no problem at all. So what you would just be doing is this basically is a mobile app already, but then you would just publish it. And I think this is not a paid version, so it won't show it properly, but you just publish it and export it. The thing just to be aware of is that sometimes you want to have like little differences between a web app and a mobile app. So like say, for example, if you're having an Android app, you probably want to have a button somewhere in settings having the option to update now. But you wouldn't want that on the web version. So you might have some small changes, and you might actually like have like, you can copy the apps really easily, but you can, like it's really amazing how flexible it is. And like, you can see in front of us as we're making changes, the web app experience is changing. While, like sometimes when I'm doing Android testing or iOS testing, I'll do like 10 builds in a day. And it's really smooth. Like there's a really great tutorial that people like should follow for publishing Adalo app. And like, it's like a little bit tricky for sure in terms of like, there's just quite a few steps, but if you just follow it, you're gonna, like I would really advise everybody, like just make a quick app and go put it on Google Play, and you're gonna feel pretty good. And don't try to make the most complicated app first. Just get something published in front of you and grow from there, because it's a
Barret? Is it my internet?
I think we lost him.
Oh, okay. Let's just wait for a few moments. I think you got. Okay, thanks everyone. Let's just wait for Barret to come back.
Hey, sorry, Crystal, my internet died.
Don't worry about it. Do you want to share your screen again, or like, yeah? I think like the last part that we heard was just put something out there in the Google Play Store. I think that's the last part.
Yeah, for sure. I just think like it's like a really like, it's something you can like really celebrate. And what I see like a lot of people using Adalo do is they like try to make like the most complicated app imaginable for their first app. And then like things can like get really complicated quickly. It's like, seeing like that visibility setting. So why not just make something simple? Like just, take the guide I shared at the beginning, make your own Twitter, but publish it on Google Play, and just like see that for yourself, you can make that happen. And then I think it really opens your mind to realize that like like start basic, but start by publishing and finishing and grow from there.
Okay, thank you. Next question is from Princess. I'm curious as to why IDs, integers, are not used in Adalo like conventional databases use.
I mean, there is an ID in the like Adalo side, and I often will make IDs for making my own work. But like Adalo's like actually like quite a flexible tool. So like the database is yours. If you want IDs, make IDs. But if you don't want IDs, don't make an ID. And like say for an example, like your primary key could also be like the username. But like for sure, like say like doing like for sure it can be a useful thing to be making keys as well. But it doesn't have to be.
Okay, thank you. Next question is from Carlo again. Why is there no one-to-one relationship?
Well, because a one-to-one relationship would be, you don't need the bridge to another database. Like that would be the information stored within that database record. So like a one-to-one relationship would be like, you have the user, and then that user has, a picture. Well, like if the one-to-one means that picture only belongs to that user, then it should be in that record itself rather than somewhere else. Like it's a one-to-one is what everything within the database record is already.
Okay, thank you. Next is from Carlo. For the size of the images, can we like show it as a perfect square like Instagram?
Yes, and like that's like there's like a setting in there where you can choose if it should be cropped or choose to be displayed fully. So if you wanted to do it like Instagram, you would just make it a perfect square image, and then you crop the image to fit into the circle.
Okay, sorry, we're seeing so many other questions, but maybe this will be the last for this round, and then maybe what do you want to do next? Do you guys want to like us to like add more functions, or maybe do the game already? But the next question is, can we integrate REST APIs for it?
Oh, cool question. So like, again, going back to the point of a minute or two ago, where like walk before you run. So before you try to like integrate APIs and stuff, I'd recommend just making something simple that uses the existing Adalo functionality. But Adalo has something called custom actions and external databases, external collections. Both of these are, custom action can be a direct API link, while external collection can be saving your database outside of Adalo. But what I'd recommend actually is something called Integromat or Zapier. If you've heard of these, so an API is an access point integration. APIs are kind of like the thing that glues the internet together. So like say when you open up an app and it has a map, they didn't build the map themselves. They got it from like Google Maps, and they use like an API. So an API is like the bridge from your app to other technology providers. And it's like really powerful. So say, for example, I found a company that makes artificial intelligence, screen recognition. They'd made an Adalo app that would, you'd take a picture in the Adalo app, then it would push via an API to their artificial intelligence tool. It would then look at the artificial intelligence system to determine, it's supposed to take pictures of plants, and it would tell you if the plant is poisonous or not poisonous. Then it would push back into Adalo the response on that. So you didn't have to build in Adalo the artificial intelligence tool to determine poison or not poisonous, but it all happened within the Adalo app. Now you can build these integrations yourself. In Adalo, we allow that, but then you do need to do some coding. But there's these amazing tools that I actually think are like the like almost like they're a part of the building experience. So like say an Integromat and Zapier, they're kind of like Coca-Cola versus Pepsi. They both accomplish the same things, but they're no code API tools. So say, for example, what you can do is you could like take one of them, like say Zapier, and you can make it when you click a button, it creates an action where you send an email to the user saying like, welcome to your app. That would be something that like Adalo doesn't allow you to send emails. But if you want to send an email, it's like as easy as that. Yes, they're make now, welcome.
Okay, yeah, they're Make Now. And that must have been a very expensive domain. Just saying.
Well, my boss at Adalo is like laughing about it. She's going like, okay, like that's going to be a real problem like for search engine optimization. Like somebody just searches Google like make. Well, I mean, it's going to be hard, but I mean, so Adalo, like I like both Zapier and Integromat/Make, but I find Integromat/Make more visually obvious for what you're building, and it really can allow you to build some advanced things pretty quickly. And you know, if I wasn't working for Adalo, there's a good chance I'd be working for Integromat/Make. Though I'm very happy to be working for Adalo because I don't need to be saying Integromat/Make for the rest of my life.
Yeah, and like Warren says, Make is not expensive, which is true. Like I usually like Integromat was cheaper than Zapier, but now I think Make is like a bit expensive now. Anyway.
I mean, no comment.
Okay. Yeah. So someone requested that, like, if could you demonstrate integrating an API such as Google Translate? Like they're requesting like integrating like the option to translate a tweet or like any kind of like API. I think they want to see an API in action.
So I'm just trying to think if I can do it easily. What I can do, I think, is this a private browser? No. So I can like show you, I'm not going to make one myself because it's hard to do. Like it just takes a while playing around. But let me just see if I can show you one that is possible. Oh, can I share my screen again?
For sure.
Okay, so welcome to Integromat/Make. I'll open my Adalo file. I'll look at my scenarios and I've got my own ones here. So what I've built is on the adalo.com website, we have our freelancer community of experts. We built the adalo.com website on the no-code tool Webflow, and it works well. But I want to be able to have our experts have their own community where they can be getting reviews from clients, getting paired with clients. So an example of, let's use this one, I think. So this is what it looks like. So, or let me actually do it with Adalo. My apologies. So what I've done is I've brought in Adalo. So what this is doing is this is pushing all of the experts from Webflow into Adalo so that when a new expert is added on our website, it gets added into our Adalo database. So first I link it to the Adalo experts app that I built. And all you do is you just link the things up. So you need, this is why I'm not doing it live, because you need all this information, but this information is easy to grab. So say like, you know, all this stuff is hanging around. So like say the API key, oh, I don't have Adalo open anymore. Like, it's really like all this information is easy to get. Like this is not hard to do. So I get the Adalo app. I first grab all the experts in our Adalo database. So I know I have a list of all the experts. I then put them together into a list. Then when Webflow makes a new one, it compares it to that list. And if that expert isn't on the list, then it makes a new record. And all of this happens kind of like magic. So for example, too, you can like even try it yourself. So when you, with this one, this is if you put in, if you make a request on our website for an expert, it will then pair with the expert. So if you come here and you can use, I have got my own test one here. I think it's on page 9. Here's my little startup I use for testing. Who knows why that's not working? Well, that's a Webflow's problem. Basically, like, you know, what you can see is like how it kind of works. And this does add more complexity, but it's really amazing how you can kind of connect anything together. And like when you're like making something here, like it's really like, you know, a new, like I think this is like really kind of what the future of technology looks like. And you can see that there's just so many connections. So like anything on this list, you can connect with Adalo. So it's just now, you know, what are you even trying to do? And it's frankly pretty amazing.
Okay, thank you for that. We have a few more questions if you're willing to answer them. Okay, one from Mark is it possible to bulk update or insert data in Adalo? For example, you have existing data and want to populate created apps.
Yeah, for sure. So if you wanted to do that, like there's a couple ways to do it. So one is you can just import via spreadsheet into the into the Adalo collection. Another way though, like the way I would do this is I would actually link a database to something like an Airtable, and then have the Airtable be like the bulk update, and then like have it when an action happens on the Airtable, it's just like that's there. You could also use like make/integromat or Zapier to update, or you could do it like in the app. You could do it like a server style where like you would like say you wanted to change all the users to have like a default image. What I would do is I would make a list of all the users. On the list of all the users, I would have a timer. On the timer, I'd make it for like 1 second. When the 1 second would finish, I would have it update the user to update that picture the way you want it to. Then I would just like make a screen that I would just load once. That would just be for me, not for public consumption. And then when it would open, it would then make the list. It would have the countdown for everyone, and then it would update all the users according to the action that I set on the countdown. Again, there's like a million ways to do everything. It's really kind of like with your creativity. So it's more not about can you do it? It's more like what is the problem you're having? And then finding like imaginative ways to solve it. So like if you can kind of like imagine it. So there's like maybe 2 things to be aware of what like Adalo is not good at right now. Well, 3 things. One is like it can be slow. And the best way to get around the speed issue, like it's okay to be slow when you're like building and testing, but for sure like slow can be an issue at a certain level of scale. But I'd highly suggest like, you know, like this is like another service we have. Like, so like Adalo, I kind of feels like almost like you're like your like mothership, and you can like plug all these different things into it. So for my own startup, we're getting around the slowness of Adalo issue by we don't use the Adalo database anymore. We use something called Xano, and it's like amazing. And it's also like a way to be like GDPR compliant and stuff. And it's like a, you know, like an example of like this no code ecosystem. So be aware, Adalo can be slow, but you can get around it with a tool like Xano or Airtable or one called Backendless. Okay, another issue is that everything for your Adalo app lives in the cloud. So if you don't have an internet connection, then Adalo has like basically no functionality. The app like doesn't have functionality. And that's like a real issue if like you're building for people who aren't in stable internet. Like I often do work in Africa, and it's like means like, you know, we can't target rural environments, but that's like a fairly common thing in the internet ecosystem today. Like say, for example, if you open Airbnb and you don't have an internet connection, it doesn't do anything. And I actually kind of like agree with the logic of it, because like imagine you're making like having things not be in real time creates this real problem of synchronicity. So like say you have like a user using your app, and like say they're asking, like say they're trying to buy something, and say they've been offline for like, you know, like 5 months, and they clicked buy like 5 months ago, then they're suddenly back online. What if the price has changed, right? Like, you know, like all these things can change while people are offline. So it's kind of easier to have everything be in the cloud and be like real time. But it is just true that Adalo has limited functionality offline, like basically doesn't do anything if you have no internet. You can make things use very small amounts of internet. That's no problem. Like you could be, you know, doing things like, you know, if you're using a progressive web app, you don't need to worry about installs. If you're, you know, like stop using images and stuff, like it can just be a couple bytes, a couple kilobytes. But if you have nothing, you can't use anything. The final thing is we haven't released our geolocation kit yet. So like if you want to do like that, like if you want to like make an Uber or something, or like that ability to like, you know, like have the app know where you are, we haven't released it yet. The cool news is like, it's like the biggest thing we're working on internal to Adalo. And, you know, like myself, like I'm excited, like when it drops, like I'm gonna be the first one creating a bunch of apps that like, you know, take into account functionality. You know, I think my app is, where can you buy the cheapest things around you in Africa, right? So you like go and you're like looking, and if you think there's something cheaper, then you can like update it and get points for it. But right now, if you want to like say have different countries, the most common way to do that is you choose from a drop-down menu. You'd have to choose like, are you in the Philippines or are you like in Indonesia? But that is coming. And something like I would say like for you guys to be aware of is like, you know, often we're late to new technology trends. You know, it's like, you know, like guys in like San Francisco come out and like, you know, the rest of the world is behind. This is the early days of no code, the early days of Adalo. Like we're like pioneers. And there's downsides to that. You know, things are still like, we're still figuring it out. Like we're, you know, we don't know what the best practices are yet. How do you build a team that like actually best does this? You know, how do you handle the relationship between developers and marketers and designers? But the advantage is that it's not a saturated community yet. And we're still also discovering what's possible. Like every day I hear examples of things that were thought to be impossible being made possible. And I think that like, if this is like a skill set that you embrace, like it's something that like in the future you might look visionary for. Like myself, like, you know, I went from thinking that I would never be able to be like a developer to being able to like, you know, make products that I thought I'd need like $1 million and 20 developers to do. And I think I'm doing it better. And I think like, it's, you know, like really like, this isn't like, a lot of people hear no code and they go like, oh, it's for like people who can't code. I think that it's actually like representing a future best practice, because like when you develop things in code, like now when I look at it, like it looks like it's like the 1970s. Like, why are we like typing? How does that even store in our brain, right? You know, you're typing in like, you know, like a DOS representative framework. And now like when you like, you know, there's a saying that like you know, a picture can say 1,000 words. So like, I feel like I'm able to build a larger product in my brain by like visual software development because I don't need to remember 50,000 lines of code, Adalo allows a higher density framework of like saving internal to like our own like brains. So like for sure, like, you know, I mean, that's why I'm doing this. Like, I think this is like the most like powerful future skill set that's out there. It's why I'm trying to spread it. Okay, sorry, Crystal, I rambled.
Oh, it is very inspiring. I was just about to say that. That was like very inspiring. If it's all right with you, the chat box has more questions. Carlo is asking, how responsive is the app when displaying or running it in different devices with different screen sizes?
So like, it doesn't really make a huge difference on different devices or different screen sizes. Internet speed makes a big issue. Like what I already just said, like, you know, like if like Adalo can be like Adalo can be faster, Adalo can be slow. Parts of the reasons are how Adalo is built. So if Adalo is being slow because of Adalo, an option is to use Xano. But what we find actually is a lot of people who get frustrated with the speed and the responsiveness of Adalo. It's also like often the way they've built the app themselves. So like, you know, Adalo can kind of allow you to do anything, but that anything can sometimes allow you to kind of like make like foolish mistakes. So you'll make like, say we made the list of tweets, right? But imagine that there was like 1 million tweets. Well, we didn't put any filter on it. So it would literally load 1 million tweets. And that would be extremely slow. It'd probably crash the app. So like a lot of people who get frustrated with the speed of Adalo, it's like they're having like, you know, a list and a list and a list and a list and a list, all opening like 10,000 things at the same time. They're like, it's slow. Well, and that's like where like, you know, because like as you become a no-code software developer, you are doing like the entire, you know, team. You know, you're the designer, you are the you know, front end, you're the back end, and you know what you might spend like 30 seconds thinking about in like, you know, like a bigger app might be a team of like 20 PhDs spending like a year thinking about it. So, you know, it's easy to kind of make little mistakes, and you know, like if you're having a problem with speed, sometimes you just have to think of solutions. And often the solution is just like a lot of this is like trial and error, experimentation. You know, you can have the goal in your mind, but the way you kind of accomplish it often just takes like, it's like a puzzle. You know, the puzzle is the app is slow. Okay, well, let's find a way to make it faster. And there's usually a way to like solve the problem you have.
Okay, yeah. What about this one from Greshel? I think this is also related to Lancelot's question. So Greshel is asking, can Adalo handle the hosting? Say we want a production environment, or can we use our own hosting like AWS or Azure? Meanwhile, Lancelot, in a related question, can this project be converted into source code?
Okay, so the project is in source code, but it's kind of meaningless. We don't allow you to export it actually just because it's so meaningless, because it has all these API references on our own side. So like, you know, it's more like a map of what we're touching rather than like a usable source code of everything. And that is something to be aware of. Like, you know, you know, Adalo, you own everything, like all your content, like we don't take anything from you, but you do like, basically like we kind of lock you in. Not because we're like trying to lock you in, though I guess we are a for-profit company, but like, you know, like Adalo is like the renderer of Adalo. So the same way it used to be like, say like with like Photoshop, where if you wanted to open a .psd file, you'd like need Photoshop to open a .psd file. Right now, to like open a Adalo project, you've got to use Adalo. Though maybe in the future, like, you know, it's like something that we're like interested in thinking of ways to be more agnostic on that. Now, hosting, well, like we're built on top of AWS. You know, if you're hosting, so like hosting's like where's your collection? So like that goes back to like the Xano, the Airtable, or like, you know, like external collection. So an external collection is pushing your databases off to other partners. So for sure, you know, you can put the databases with other hosts, but to actually like, you know, like Adalo does need to be in the loop. You can also, from a progressive web app perspective, you can like host it on your own domain. That's easy, like for like a custom domain. But like Adalo does need to be in the loop. Like if you delete your Adalo app, but your app is like published in the Google Play Store, would it still work? Huh. Yeah, no, it wouldn't work because like even if you're using like an external database, it's still like the Adalo app is a critical piece mapping the relationships between things. And if you like cut out Adalo from there, then like the map has a big hole on it.
Okay, thank you. For John Ramon is asking, can you publish apps without a premium upgrade? And for Leo, I think this is also related. Is there a storage limit?
Yes, yes, and yes, or no, no, and no. No, you cannot publish an app without a premium upgrade. My apologies. That's like a part of our way to get people onto the paid plan. And you guys are getting like the paid plan to try it out. There, from a storage limit perspective, if you're not on the paid plan, I think you get like, I don't know, like 500 database lines or something. But for sure, like we're trying to nudge you towards the paid plan. So without the basic idea is like, it's like in a classic SaaS model, we've created a free plan that should be enough for you to play around with and get a feel and see if it brings you value. But if you don't, if you do, then you should keep using it. And for paid version, I did see in the chat text earlier, though, that there's quite a few students on the call. And something to be aware of is that Adalo is free for students. It's a bit of a pain to activate on my side, actually, not your side. But yeah, like if you're a student, like you get Adalo. I think it's like forever free as you're a student, but like the basic way we do that is in 6-month increments. So you can like reach out to me, give me your student email address or something. It's easier if you have like a credit card to get it going, but even if you don't, we can figure it out. So, students shouldn't have to pay for Adalo.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. Bless is asking, can you publish what you made as a mobile app to a website?
Yeah, isn't that what we've been doing?
I actually don't understand the question. Bless, maybe you can clarify. I think like maybe like she meant PWA or something. Sorry, I'm not sure actually. Warren is asking, is there an OTP component in Adalo or its marketplace? Or we use Integromat or Zapier to build OTP enabled login?
Good question. Somebody should make a component for that.
Yes.
So no, like right now, so when I want to make an OTP, I use Integromat/make. And what I do is, so like say in Adalo, I'll have like a database field of like OTP. And when you click like generate OTP, what it will do is it'll actually make in Adalo like a random number. And then it will go over Integromat or Zapier to via SendGrid, or just Google Mail actually works really awesome, or Twilio. And then what I do is it'll like send you that number. Then what I'll have back in Adalo, because Adalo has the OTP tied to that user's database. So it'll be like, like Barret Nash database OTP, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'll have, remember when we were doing the visibility settings for the picture, I'll have a conditional visibility setting. So I'll have, if number equals 1, 2, 3, 4, show button, and that button will take you to the place you're trying to go. If OTP does not equal 1, 2, 3, 4, then it can go to an error message saying OTP incorrect. And there's tons of community stuff. Like what I usually do is like, I just Google like Adalo and the question I'm asking. And like the Adalo forums, like, there's tons of content there. There's like tons of video content. I myself am working on the Adalo App Academy. Crystal, I think you're putting a course up there, I hope. So like, there's like, like sometimes like it's like I always feel like I'm like an idiot because like I'll spend all this time trying to like brilliantly come up with a solution when like I could have just like Googled it and like had like 1,000 answers. And don't be afraid to use the forum either. Like, people are pretty engaged. Sometimes people can be grumpy on our forums, but like, usually you do get an answer.
Okay. Sorry. So we, as much as we would love to answer all your questions, let's maybe answer the last 3 questions. Then, if it's all right with you, can you ask the questions for the No Code PH shirt giveaway? Like, you'll just ask them random Adalo questions, and then the first person who answers or raises their hand can like win the No Code PH shirt. Because like I wasn't able to like come up with like questions. So sorry. I was. Do you want to answer it, like, or should I just ask random Adalo questions?
I can ask random questions. This will put me in like summer counselor mode.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. So last 3 questions, and I think this question is a very good one from Gracel. Does Adalo have its own version control, or can it be used with Git or similar tools?
We don't have version control. It is another feature that actually is at our current development cycle. So I expect it to be like something that you hear more about. And I was like literally on a call yesterday with the guy who's leading it, and his like win from the week, it was talking about how it's now feeling more real. But in effect, like the way I do version control right now is I just copy the app, and it's kind of like heavy because like then I have like, you know, like 100 apps kicking around. So version control will actually be an improvement for Adalo itself, so we don't have to like have such a heavy solution. But version control is coming. You know, it's gonna be one of those things like sooner rather than later. And you know, if you're concerned with version control, which is a good concern to have, what I do is like maybe every day, every 2 days, I just make a full copy of the app. Then I try to like delete you know, the copy after like a week or something.
Okay. From Chester, is it possible to display contents to screens based on the logged in user's click activity within the app?
Yeah, absolutely. Like this is where you kind of like, you know, have to be like kind of like clever in how you think something. So like say, for example, okay, so like say you want to have like a training wheels version of your app that's like super simple, you know, and then you want the user to say have to click, like say you're doing like I don't know, like a chat, and you want to have the person, you know, like have like done more than 5 chat messages or clicked new chat 5 times. So you'd have like in the database next to that user, like say, you know, count number of times that they've clicked make chat. So when you'd first come, it would be 0. So it would be showing this simplified version. And when you'd open the app, you'd have like a splash screen, and the splash, you can have actions happen at a page level, not just from a button. So you like click the page and like it has actions. So you'd have like, when they come to the splash, the action is go to simple version if count less for chats less than 5, go to expanded version if more than 5. Then what you'd have is every time they'd click new chat, you'd have an update action that would update for that user number of chats +1. And then when they get past 5, they'd go to the splash, and it would then go to the expanded home screen, right? You can also do things like this for like administrators. Like say users can have different statuses and stuff. So like say you could have a button with like visibility and be like only show if user status equals admin.
Okay, thank you. And for our last question, can the design, not functionality, be exported similar to Figma?
Unfortunately not. I mean, we're so influenced by Figma, but it's just not something that we have the capability of doing.
Okay. Thank you everyone for the questions. Now we're going to the part where you can win No Code PH shirts. So I'd like to request Barret to like just ask like random Adalo related questions. It can be like something like they can Google right away, like the history of Adalo, or like something that related to what you taught us today. Maybe we can do it like the first one who uses the raise hand feature will be the first one to so guys, don't answer in the chat box, raise your hand, and then we'll ask you to give us your answer, and then it's Barret who will say whether your answer was right or correct. So are you ready, everyone, to win a No Code PH shirt? Okay, yes. Okay, thank you. Okay, I think like the raise hand is kind of like too early because we don't have a question yet. Okay, let's wait for Barret. Let's wait for Barret to ask a question. Okay, go.
Okay, who's the CEO of Adalo?
Ooh, okay. I think the first one was Chiam. And I'll ask you to start your video. Ooh, wait. Sorry. I'm so bad at this. Okay. Ask to start video. Then okay. Hi Chiam. What's your answer?
My answer is David. David Adkin. I'm not sure.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Okay, congratulations. Okay, we have 2 more shirts to give away.
Okay, let me do a harder one. What state in the United States? Could you lower your hands, please?
Yeah, because we can't figure out like who was the first. Please lower
Maybe
your
it should just be. Maybe it should be whoever does it the fastest on the chat with the correct answer.
Okay, we could do that. Okay, sorry guys. Let's change the mechanics. The first person who answers in the chat box. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna do a hard one just to mess with you all. I'm a Canadian, so I don't even know the answer. What is the state immediately to the west of the state that Adalo is headquartered in?
Oh my gosh. Oh.
No, not Missouri, to the west.
I also don't know the answer. So
I don't know either. I'm searching it myself.
Okay, guys. So feel free to like I'm just gonna name like random.
Okay, whoever got Kansas, who was the first one with Kansas? It looks like it's it looks like it's Mabel Benares. I'm sorry for saying that wrong. And we would have also accepted Nebraska, I guess. Okay.
Okay, so it's Mabel, congratulations. It's so west of the state where Adalo is headquartered in is Kansas. Congratulations. That was really hard.
Yeah, no, it's hard for me too. I had no idea.
Yeah.
No, I'm an elitist. We call that flyover territory. And in fact, actually, Adalo is 100% remote. So we actually gave up our office and there's no plan to ever be unremote. So like, it's awesome, I gotta say. I gotta be like wherever I want in the world. So like, I'm in like, I choose my time zone. Okay, last question. What is the new name for the company Integromat?
Oh, okay, lots of people, but
Okay, that was an easy one.
yeah, that was an easy one. But Carlo Nevada, I think was the first one. So congratulations, Carlo Nevada. Wait, so just so I remember, first one was Chiam, then Mabel, then third one is Carlo. Okay, congratulations, everyone. And so thank you for attending our workshop. And we just like to thank Barret for
2 seconds. I'm realizing that I didn't create these settings for this course to be open to anyone. So let me just send this again.
Okay, that would be cool. We'd love to have.
Okay. So guys, I put in the chat. So that has another video of me doing Twitter, but it also has like a 30-page guide of like making Twitter for yourself that I think will be easier for you to follow. And like, I mean, I'd really recommend just making it and putting it online. And like, I think that's something that, you know, if you can do something like that, then you can start feeling like you can kind of do anything. Thank you so much, Crystal, for having me. This is really a pleasure. I've been to the Philippines before. When people ask me what my favorite country is, I usually say Nepal or the Philippines. Nepal is so beautiful, but the Philippines is so friendly and safe. I've never felt safe like I've been in the Philippines. Though Manila is a bit of a weird place. If you're from Manila, my apologies for you. You should go to one of the small islands. But yeah, and I am excited to see that there's this ecosystem of no code and Adalo taking off in the Philippines. And like, frankly, like, I believe that the Philippines has really good potential. You know, you guys are so plugged into the world. Everybody kind of speaks English. You're naturally technologists, like, for sure. Like, you know, one of the cool things I hope for no code is that we stop this like neo-colonialism from California. So make stuff that competes. Okay, I'm hopping off. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you, Barret. Thank you so much. And like, maybe you want to share your Twitter handle or like wherever they can follow you, or maybe like ask questions if they want to.
I mean, for sure, you can find me if you need to find me. I'm not that hard to find. Okay, see you all.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, everyone, just a few reminders before we end tonight. Wait. Okay. Can you see my screen? Okay, I'm assuming you can see my screen. Okay, so if you enjoyed that, I hope that you will also attend all our other upcoming workshops. So just to let you know, all 4 of these are official Adalo experts. So we have Eric Goins, who will build an on-demand delivery app. Shantano Srivastava, who will teach us intermediate skills. So I think it was I don't actually forgot, but there was someone who asked about like integrating APIs using Adalo, and that's one of the things he will be teaching. And then Daniel Galang, who is also a Filipino from Complab, he will be teaching about PWA and business development. So Bless, about your question about like turning a mobile app into a website, I think I didn't quite understand your question, but I think this is the answer to your question, which is a PWA. And our last workshop, the topic is yet to be announced, but it's also related to Adalo. And all of these workshops will help you create your Adalo app. And, you know, like hopefully it will also help you get yourself to demo day. Speaking of getting yourself to demo day, we have group mentoring calls. So I and Dayon will be available for group mentoring calls. So anytime from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., the Zoom room and the Google Meet room will be open, and you can just hop in and ask your question. So this is the best time to like answer questions. If you're stuck building, for example, you already tried Googling, you already tried everything, but you haven't found the answer, we'll try our best to help you. Or for example, if you want help, is my idea something that could take off? Is my idea something that would actually help the people I want to help? So any kind of questions related to making our Adalo app for the challenge, we will be happy to answer them. And last but not the least, please don't forget, April 25th, 8 p.m., you have to submit your project to the Adalo, to the No Code PH showcase and tag it as part of the Adalo Challenge. And then, sorry, that's supposed to be 26. The announcement of the top 10 will be the next day on the 26th. And then from 27 to 28, you can book a call with Cedric Atienza, and he will help you prepare your demo day pitch. So Cedric won 2nd place in ODNC3 demo day. So he can for sure help you make the best pitch possible in order for you to win demo day, which is happening on April 29th. So thank you so much for attending. And as always, No Code PH is here to support you in your no code journey. Message us on Facebook or send us an email at support@nocode.ph if you have any questions. Thank you, everyone, and good night.